This video is about doing an interview online, a challenge that most of you would face, an uncommon opportunity or a challenge a few years back. It has become such a norm at the moment. So many are actually worried about the online interview. There are reasons for that, such as yes, there's very little time or no time to settle in. The questions begin immediately, and question after question. Normally, the interviewer would line up 2 or 3 interviews with different people. So, yeah, sometimes the interview happens on the night. Generally, if it's a foreigner, so there are challenges. Yeah, we don't have training on this. Talking to people online, we may have, but doing these formal interviews, it's not exactly a common practice or rather common experience for us. And yes, it's 2D. Mostly it's a voice. You have to keep looking at the camera, which is not very comfortable. And they may judge us by hearing our voice mostly. Our face or actions, body language may be difficult for us to show. So few things there. Yeah, normally communication is 80% non-verbal. An online interview gives us less chance on that, because our eye, our hands, our body language, our the posture, they become less visible in an online interview. So our voice plays a bigger role in an online interview. So those issues are there. Yeah, we are nervous, no question about it, and there may be little rapport. Sometimes an online interviewer would talk straight. There would be less smiling. He may not even switch on his video. We may not see him, and it immediately happens. Now, if it's a physical interview, there's always a pep talk. There's some welcome of someone. Nothing happens in an online interview. The time is set, so you come, you sit, and you do. And within a matter of 10-15 minutes, you have to make up an impression, a challenging proposition. And then, of course, the device issues. Your mouse may be fuzzy, the camera may not be all right, the mic may be having some issues. A lot of technical issues could be there. And the sounds, the audibility, sounds from home. So that all makes you nervous. But we need to get into this uncharted territory. We have no choice. We have to make it work somehow. So this video is about a few simple tricks about exactly how to fix it up. But remember, with all the minus points, online interview has some advantages. Take a look. Yeah, it might lead to faster hiring. Generally at the end of the interview sometimes. Whereas a physical interview at a company, head office or somewhere, there are processes. You have to apply to the HR, then the interview, sometimes a second interview, then all those things may take weeks for you to get to know whether you're going to be hired. But in an online interview, it's fast. And yes, we have a degree of flexibility on the day or time. And they will not, generally the online interviewer would not force you for a particular day or time. Will always ask whether you're comfortable with it. And you could determine that aspect. Availability of the electricity or your ability to come. Normally this online interview happens on an evening or probably in the night. You could request for changes, whereas a physical interview you have no chance of asking for changes. They'll inform you days in advance, normally by letter, and you have to be then and there. No second chances. So cancellation options are very rare in online interviews, because you could ask for delays, you could ask for postponements. The other advantage is you could use multimedia, like you could show video, you could prepare a PowerPoint and show some of the pictures that you have as evidence you can show. So that is a possibility. Yeah, saving cost. No need outfits, no need traveling for hours and hours, right? All you need is a good shirt and a tie or a good top. You could wear a sarong at the bottom, so no harm. So these are the process, and there's more. How do we do this? First thing in an online interview is, check the devices, all of them. Camera, microphone, speaker, screen resolution, headphone port, is it fixed properly? Is the battery ready? Right? What about the internet connection? You have to double check it before you begin. And the other thing is, you got to know your Zoom or MS Office, or I'm sorry, a Microsoft one. You got to have the full understanding of the the connection with which you are doing it, the app. If you are using Zoom, know everything about the Zoom. You can get a friend to teach you, right? Same goes for MS. These are the most two common things, but whatever the platform that they are going to use in the interview, you should know which is what, because in order to not to get into a trouble when you're using the interview. And just get the lighting right. You have to get the face be lit up. Natural light is better, but if it's interview in the night, this is lost on you. Make sure the face is lit up nicely. Having an overhead light may result in a bad silhouette, so better go for a lighting in front of you. And the background, better not go for an artificial background. Always try to come up with the natural background, perhaps a bookshelf, maybe a cleaner wall or a curtain, something like that. And keep everything silent, especially switch off the notifications in the phone, laptop, right? Keep the phone silent and switch off the alarms, and yes, keep the pets away, right, at home. And of course you have to tell home what you're going to do. Yeah, you got to plan ahead and anticipate questions. Now you can go up and down online and you can see some standard questions that an online interviewer may ask. And for each question, you can make some small notes, perhaps just a line or two, some word or two, in separate pieces of paper. Don't write all in one paper, so that will make you look at the paper continuously, and that's bad, because much of the time you should be looking at the camera, not the screen, at the camera. But here and there, in order to prop yourself, you could look at these small pieces of paper that you can keep below the camera. So anything strange the interviewer may not feel. Now that's one advantage of going for online interviews, right? In a physical interview, you have no chance to double check on a piece of paper or something. In an online interview, you could do that. And yes, the key is you have to show the skills in an online interview. You have to show examples. And online interview is a better opportunity for you to show examples, because you could show your social media, you could show pictures, you can show some PowerPoint presentations. So none of this is possible in a physical interview. Here you have those chances. And yes, what in the CV, what you have added in the CV, don't repeat it. Tell evidence or talk about examples to support what you have stated in the CV. Don't repeat the same thing, right? Online interview is a great place to show your examples. And yes, they will ask whether you have questions to ask, and always prepare a question or two or three. Think about it, and some of the online learning may help you to get an understanding about the questions to ask. Other than the salary, right? Be ready to ask the questions, such as what? The nature of the work, how much of the work would be on site, or whether it's be physical, in the event of you need some flexibility, where you can ask for flexibility. So be good in asking a question or two. Never say that you don't have questions. Yeah, always anticipate the technical difficulties. There is a possibility of a power cut, then you have to tell them that, okay, I'm ready for 6 p.m., but I'm not so sure whether we'll have the power. If that's the case, is it possible for us to have it at 8 p.m. on the same day? So you could talk them. Yeah, so you have to sort out these things with the interviewer beforehand. Tell him, if I have this kind of a power issue, if there's a sudden lightning shower, could I have a plan B? You can check it up with the interviewer, and he would love it. rather than just telling yes, yes, yes for all his requests. Negotiate with him about the timing and the place and the date of the interview. And you have to check, are you asking me only for audio, or should the video be there, or is it a pre-recorded one? Then you have a couple of chances to record it again and again, no? Or is it a live one? General duration of the interview, you better check, ask again, right? These are plan B's. Be ready with it. And if you run into a technical issue, do you get a second chance? And tell them the nature of the technical issues you might find. It cannot be due to devices, but it could be due to some of your service providers' headaches, right? Like SLT or Dialog or whatever, right? And the best thing is, run a mock interview with a friend. Get the friend come online from the other side, make him, give him some, anticipated questions, get the video on, and yes, try to pretend it's a real interview, and then get a recording to see whether your eye contact is all right, whether your smile is okay, and when you're looking at some notes, is it too obvious? What about your outfit? What about the backlighting? How was your lighting on the face? Check it up. Always run a mock interview too with your friends. Make sure to do that. And then, how do you do that? Yeah, you must smile. Teeth should show. Do not smile without the teeth showing. You have to show your teeth, because an online interview has very limited chance to show your confidence and attitude, because it's 2D, not like a physical interview. So here, don't take chances. Make sure that you're well groomed, and yes, a smile is the best weapon that you can have. And yes, always look at the camera, not on the screen. Then if that's the case, the interviewer will be seeing the middle of your head. So make sure to look at the camera always. Yeah, you have to sit straight and lean forward. Don't lean back, lean forward. So you can sit on the chair, you have to lean forward, right, like the interviewer, like the person here. Yeah, and make sure that you keep the camera below the eye level, not above your eye level. Okay, keep it below the eye level. And always when the interviewer asks questions, listen very well. If you have an issue understanding it, ask him again, could you explain again? And never give single word answer like yes, no, maybe. No, don't give that. Always back it up a single word with something else. Yes, I do. Yes, I think. Of course, I agree. Something like that. And yes, relax. And make sure that your hands are free. So you should be using your hands at least a little bit, so the interviewer could get to have a feel, or maybe can see it. And yes, remember the small notes. So some of the questions that he may be asking about may be examples, right? You could make tiny notes on the or below on the keyboard or somewhere, for you to get technically a kind of a hint or two when you're talking. So you could look down once in a while to get a quick understanding, and then keep looking at the camera. And don't write all this in a single paper. That's a no, definitely. And yeah, how do you nail it? And remember, to log early, 15 minutes before, so you can, check it up any issues that you have. Don't log on time, log very early, 15 to 30 minutes before, to adjust and, arrange everything, right? And yes, whatever the questions they ask, try to develop an answer within 30 to 45 seconds. Do not talk too long, because the interviewer may keep you for something like maybe 15, sometimes even 30 minutes, right? But he will have a load of questions. So make sure that each answer is tackled by you within a period which is 30-45 seconds. So if he needs more information, he'll ask. Otherwise, he'll go for the next question. And yes, never be afraid to minimize the PowerPoint and show pictures, videos, right? You can easily show them, you can easily get them prepared, right? Perhaps some activities that you've done, projects that you've done, right? You could show the photos. That will be a great thing for the interviewer. And yes, you need to find out who this employee is, what kind of a company this is, the nature of the company, the type of business they do, their mission, vision statement, right? Their typical branding, their marketing, their common catchphrases. So some of which you could give as hints when you're doing the interview. So never do an interview without knowing the employer beforehand. All these online interviewers companies have websites, right? They have very good LinkedIn pages, right? Sometimes FB. Check it out. Be prepared. That will make you be better ready for the interview. And yes, practice well. Always practice well. You can use a friend or someone, right, to mimic an online interview. So that will be, helping for you to be natural and crossing the chasm of challenge of the online interview. Catch you another day.